lab experiments in electrical engineering. Engineering is innovation and project-based learning, and this pandemic of corona has opened the doors of innovations and opportunities. This online faculty development program on topic virtual lab in experiments in electrical engineering by expert with experience in a specialized field and registered participants are invited to attend. It is a great opportunity to form a network of relationships while gaining knowledge and experience from the speaker and participants. The ones you are going to witness are informational and knowledgeable session for the day. We are extremely fortunate that due to the support and guidance of the Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, RGPV Bhopal, and respected coordinator Sir, RGPV TechUp 3. Virtual laboratories are defined as computer simulations with practically high visualization and interaction capabilities, aim to help students perform a given scientific or engineering experiments, or more briefly, has a laboratory experience without the actual laboratories. The purpose of laboratories has allowing students to see how things work in real life, designing and following a flow chart, gaining experience through practice, learning the important aspects of experimental work, such as techniques and report writings, and understanding theory. Virtual laboratories can be effective for students, particularly those with limitations, either physical or time-based, who may have difficulties accessing physical laboratories or scheduling laboratory time. Instructors and technical staff may find virtual laboratories useful, but with additional challenges for setup, maintenance, and integration with coursework. At the university level, there may be cost considerations that affect decisions about supplementing and or replacing physical laboratories with virtual laboratories. The basic idea is that either a physical lab or a simulation engine is there in the server, and this is accessible to users remotely by remote users. Virtual lab comprises of a user-friendly graphical front end which is available to the user and its backend. Now I would like to extend a warm welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sunil Kumar Gupta Sir, RGPV Bhopal. This event would not have been possible without support and guidance to RGPV. Now I would like to extend a warm welcome to our coordinator, Professor S.C. Chaube Sir, TechUp 3 RGPV Bhopal, who always extend his support and great guidance to TechUp. His input and guidance has helped us in providing clarity and direction to TechUp. We are indeed grateful for your gracious presence, sir. I feel grateful to welcome our expert, Dr. Prashant Agnihotri, sir, Assistant Professor from IIT Bhilai. Sir has done his PhD from University of Manitoba, Canada, MS from University of North Dakota, USA, and BE from RGPV Bhopal. Now I would request respected coordinator Professor S.C. Chaube sir, TechUp RGPV Bhopal, to throw a light on the purpose of this program. Sir, please.
I welcome Dr. Prashant Agnihotri, IIT Bhilai, and as an expert for this event. I welcome all the participants who are here, and a very short notice they could manage to register and joining with us. On virtual lab, this has become a an integral part of any curriculum. Looking to the significance and importance, RGPV has mandatorily included virtual lab in all the curriculum, whether electrical, mechanical, civil, computer science, architecture, everywhere this has been included. Most of the time, either institutes don't have infrastructure, teachers are not well trained in conducting the experiments, and faculty crisis. Looking to all this, students fail to understand the basic objective of the experiments, and most of the times, if you ask any questions related to the practical aspect, students fail to answer those questions. And most of the time, they are not able to go through in any interviews. It is our personal experience that whenever we, in an interview board, whenever we ask any practical questions from the students, their performance looks very poor, even at engineering service examination or administrative service examinations. And this, all the experiments, any institutions, particularly when you talk about the high voltage engineering or power electronics, some of the cost of the equipment are so high that generally it is not affordable, and private institutions are not able to afford all those expenditures, and ultimately our students suffer. This virtual lab has come on the way, and the first it is introduced, I can recall the support of the Dr. Agnihotri, the expert of the today, that he could support technically how to initiate virtual lab in RGPV. And the first lecture was delivered in the RGPV conference hall, and where all along with the Honorable Vice Chancellor was sitting. And it was 3 hours lectures where we could understand about the basics of this virtual lab. And this virtual lab, sometimes if you read the virtual lab, means it is remotely, can be accessed any experiment you can do, you can record the data. But you know that sometimes also it becomes difficult that which lab is we are going to access, which is located at Pune or IIT, and whether that lab is available that time or not. But you know, just that some links are available. You go through these links, and even in the absence of remotely accessed labs, you can do your own, that how to perform the Kirchhoff voltage law, KCL, KVL, or in the machines, how can you perform the experiment of finding the losses in the machines, transformers, generators, motors, synchronous machines, all you can perform the, and what, you know, that students should have a feel. And always we expect that when the students are working with the hardware, then he will have a feel. Even if it is not there, you will find that with this virtual lab, students will have a feel that this is red wire, why R, why B, what is the coil, even everything you will find that this is the coil. And if students make any wrong correction, here it will only indicate that the fuse has blown, it has gone. And in fact, once students work on this platform, he will be confident, yes, what the corrections I should have, I had made wrong corrections and this was the result. Now here I should be very take the precautions while making all corrections. You will find that you will enjoy, be here for 2 days. This is the conduct for 2 days. And if required, this can be extended. Always I find Dr. Prashant Agnihotri is very supportive. He wants to do something for the FLT institutions of Madhya Pradesh. He is from Madhya Pradesh. And anytime you must have realized sometime he has been here to deliver different talks on the different topics. And this time when I requested him, he really has given his consent to talk on this virtual lab. And with this, I think that from the next sessions, and even you can talk to your students online. You cannot wait time. Students are available on the platform, digital platform. You can, after this, you can just you can invite your students and talk about this virtual lab. So you can start right from today. So and then you find any problems, again, I will invite Professor Agnihotri to deliver another set of talks, maybe on different machines or maybe on different topics of the electrical engineering. So once again, thanks to Dr. Agnihotri for giving his time interacting with us, and I hope that in future his support academic support will continue to the affiliated institutions, faculties, not only on this platform, but any time in a research areas of electrical engineering, new emerging areas in electrical engineering. I wish to thank extend my thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor, who has been a very, very initiative in all the fields, and probably it was all his effort that he has especially guided me that you had to arrange this, not only electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, every branch of engineering. He has instructed me personally that you have to arrange this type of workshop. I am thankful to my TechUp team who working day and night, because it is not only one program. Yesterday, our TechUp team has organized 8 programs, and again, more number of programs are due. And finally, I would like to thank all participants who are here. And the duration of this course will be 1.5 hours today and 1.5 hours tomorrow. And I'm sure that you will enjoy. I'm sure that both days will fetch you a lot of instructions, a lot of concepts about the virtual lab. Once again, thank you very much to all of you. Thanks. Over to Madhurima.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I invite our speaker of this session, Dr. Prashant Agnihotri, sir, session on virtual lab experiments in electrical engineering. Sir, please continue. Over to you, sir.
Madhurima, are you able to listen to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You are audible, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much, Professor Chaubey, for that introduction. My bandwidth of internet is slightly low, so I'm going to turn off my video. And as I said, it's always good to be giving talks to the people in Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh is where I was born and brought up, so it's always close to me. And in this pandemic situation of COVID-19, they're forget about the faculty members, even the students and staff members, they are finding it quite difficult to go to their colleges. The idea is that the education should not stop. So that is one of the main reasons. Are you able to see the presentation? Can you?
Yes,
are
sir.
you able to see the slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Perfect. Okay, so this is actually a talk which I have also given earlier in RGPV, and virtual lab is something which is an initiative by the government of India, and I will talk about that in more detail. Although a brief introduction about that has already been given by Professor Chaubey and Madhurima. But maybe just to keep the things in perspective, say nowadays we have many institutions, many technical institutions are coming up almost every year. So I will just give you an example that I graduated in year 2007. And at that time, in Gwalior itself, we used to have mainly 3 or 4 institutions. And presently, I heard that in Gwalior itself, there are many more institutions coming up, and which are already there, and many new are coming up. Okay. And some of them are even affiliated to RGPV. So that brings me to the second point, that huge numbers of engineers are being produced. Now you can see that nowadays there is a lot of demand in the area of IT, especially audible now? Hello?
Sir, you audible?
Okay. Now somebody was saying that the voice is breaking.
No, sir.
So you can see that huge number of engineers are produced every year, and the important part is that the quality of the engineer should be good, because when they go into the industry, then they find themselves sometime in a very difficult situation, because sometimes the exposure that they have got uh, into their colleges is not up to that top-notch level. Okay, and as a technical institutions, I think it is a responsibility that at least the students should get good exposure to the latest state-of-the-art techniques. Okay. Now, there is always a you can say a limitation to that part also, because some of these institutions are new, so they don't have enough infrastructure, or they don't have enough money to establish the lab equipments. They don't have enough funds to establish the labs. Sometimes even if they are able to find uh, the particular infrastructure, then they don't have enough skilled manpower to operate that part. Okay? And many times there is also a situation. For example, I will give you very practical examples. No offense to anyone of them. For example, in RGPV now we have one of the state-of-the-art real-time simulator. Okay, you have OpenRT, but unfortunately we have not been able to work with it so far, because first of all there is a COVID now, so the engineers cannot come here. Plus we don't have any popularity. Okay? So we have infrastructure, but we don't have skill power. Okay. Now coming to the second part, geographical location. For example, we right now, IIT Bhilai, um, we also have our interest to establish some state-of-the-art lab facilities, but we are currently running in a transit campus, so we have our restrictions based on um, the geographical location as well as the space. So that could also be a hindrance. But one of the important things I think any institution or any university is committed towards is that we should always give quality education to everyone, and not only this, the equal opportunity should be given to all. So what essentially is happening is that um, sharing of costly equipments is something which is slightly being thought upon nowadays by the government of India and many other technical institutions. For example, if any particular institution has some experimental lab facility worth crores of rupees, then generally the crores of rupees, if it is coming from the funding from the government institution, then they encourage these institutions at least to share this facility with the other institutions who are not being able to get that funding. Because that way many more people can get trained over this on this equipment. But having said that, there has also been proliferation of the quality labs is going on, and the physical distances limits during the experiment, especially in this scenario, where they are not able to perform the experiments because the students are not even able to go to the colleges. Okay. I'm pretty sure that in the next semester you might be having some labs in your institutions also, respective institutions, and there might be some people might be scratching their heads right now that how we are going to conduct them. And that's a very valid or genuine concern, because in this scenario, when the students and people are not able to travel, how they will be able to come to the institution, how they will be able to use the equipments. You might have seen a very common thing in the labs is that only one person is, which is a lab assistant, is explaining the experiment to a group of students. Maybe uh, sometimes what they do is if it is a batch of let's say 100 students, then they try to divide it into two groups of let's say 60 students and maybe 20 students each. So let's say 20 students, they are hovering around this one lab assistant guy who's trying to show the experiment to all these 20 people. Now, sometimes this is not a very good scenario, especially in this situation when the social distancing is a big norm. I don't think that will be allowed to have 20 people uh, hovering around this lab assistant guy to just see or to have a glimpse of the experiment. That is not feasible. And by the way, this I'm talking about if the students are able to reach to the lab. Now, if they are not able to even reach to the lab, then there is a different scenario. But let's even forget about that situation. So the question now is that what are the features of the virtual lab? See, this is completely software-based platform which has been developed, and it's a anytime, anywhere lab. So you can use this lab at any point of time. So this is also one very big. Unfortunately, we have this situation that most of the universities they have timings of let's say morning 9 to evening 5 or 5:30, and even in that time period, the labs may be available for the students for a period of let's say 1.5 hours. And in this 1.5 hours, the students have to look into the experiment and they have to perform it. They have to take the readings. They have to perform uh, any set of instructions which have been given to them, and then they have to submit their maybe in one sitting or two sittings. But problem that happens generally is that because the equipments are generally less in number and the students are more, there is no one-to-one correlation where a student can perform the experiment at their own wish and they try to satisfy their curiosity. Okay, for example, if you have any questions like, what if I don't do it this way? And if I try to do a particular experiment in some other way, or if I just try to tune certain parameter in a different way and then try to see how the results are coming. Now, for this kind of questions to satisfy, sometimes there are physical limitations. For example, the lab experiments may not allow you to play with the equipment rather than uh, what are the given set of instructions given. Of course, I'm not talking about playing with the safety here, but if you just want to play with some of the parameters and try to see how the results will come, maybe it is not feasible. Okay. Maybe it is not feasible from the safety perspective, and maybe it may not be feasible from the equipment's limitation perspective. For example, if there is some resistive load in the, let's say I'm talking about some motor, and then if you want to see that what happens if we have certain amount of large inductance across the motor, let's see how the voltages and current waveforms come into this code. Then there is a possibility that the lab may not even have a large amount. So in that case, the student may not be able to satisfy their curiosity. However, in the virtual lab, um, yeah, and then another point that I was talking about is that all these labs they have a very limited time period. So the students may first of all not be able to do different kind of experiments in the experiments, and secondly, the time may be a certain limitation also. That you have to perform everything in 1.5 hours, and if your time is over, then you may not be able to see the same experiment next time. Okay. And even after that, for example, let's say you want to work with the same experiment after hours, uh, then sometimes due to safety perspective or institution rules, that may be discouraged. Okay. So virtual lab is an answer to that. For example, this is a anytime, anywhere lab. You can use it freely. It's free of cost availability. You don't have to pay anything. Sometimes for some lab experiments, you might see that they may ask you to register for it. That's one thing to ask. And it can be accessible through any PC as well as laptop. You can use it at some mobile phone also. It's in the self-learning mode, so you don't have to be trained or anything to be using it. Okay, sometimes people say that we want to perform experiments in a virtual lab, but we have not received any training in virtual lab. Well, frankly speaking, virtual lab doesn't need any training because in the experimentation also you have all the manuals and everything, objectives are clearly stated, and there is no risk of the safety with the setups that you have. Okay, so you can always learn by yourself. And there are many innovative experimentations going on. We have around 120 virtual labs which have already been developed. That I'm talking about the different areas, not just electrical, but also communications, um, mechanical, computer science. We have artificial intelligence, image processing, various kind of um, labs are available. Now, some of the factors I have already covered, but I will just go through them one more time. So we have factors such as uh, cost, availability, experimentation, user experience, and then I've just classified the physical labs versus the virtual labs. Okay, so cost, you can see that physical labs generally can cost you lakhs of rupees. Forget about lakhs of rupees, it can even go to um, crores of rupees nowadays for expensive. So availability is limited in time and space. Virtual lab, you can go for 24/7. The rest of the other things I think I have also mentioned. But one thing that I would like to emphasize here is the user experience is the second best in the virtual lab. See, the idea of virtual labs is not to replace the existing lab. This is one common thing which many people try to take it in a other way that if you have virtual lab, then there is no need of the actual labs. That's not the thing. See, you cannot ignore the experience of working with a real-time synchronous motor or synchronous machine in the lab while just doing a simulation over the virtual lab. Okay? You cannot mimic the same user experience in virtual lab. Having said that, if you want to do certain experimentations which are not possible in the actual synchronous machine, you can do that over virtual lab. So that is one factor which is in favor of virtual lab. But I must say again that at no point of time virtual labs are not intended to replace the actual lab, actual or physical labs. They still provide you the best user experience. Now, since many of you are faculty members here, I was just going through some of the people's names and they have doctor in front of them. So I assume that they are many of them are faculty members at certain institutions. The idea is that how you can have the virtual lab, and you might have heard from maybe Professor Chobe or from some RGPV website or from some other resources that you can become a nodal center for the virtual lab. So how that nodal center thing comes up? So what you have to do is you have to adhere to certain objectives. For example, virtual lab will actually help remotely located areas reap the benefit of quality and relevant education. For example, you might be located in some locality in Uttar Pradesh where a new institution is coming up and they may not be able to afford this thing. Even the computers they may not be able to afford at a very large number to start with. So virtual labs can help them remotely to reap the benefits. Okay. And this labs actually provide a platform for the student to conduct the experiment and as I said, they can enhance their capabilities because what they can do is they can experiment with the experiments. And I will tell that you in a moment when I will show you a particular experiment in this session. And I'm very sure that many of you must be looking into or watching the NPTEL lectures or SWAYAM lectures to enhance your knowledge. That's a great platform where the faculties from IITs are constantly being involved in delivering high quality and rich lectures to the people. And I think that this virtual lab actually complements very nicely to those NPTEL and SWAYAM lectures because what you can do is you can listen to lectures, grasp the theory, work out the numericals, and then try to do the same sort of experiments in the virtual lab. Okay? So you might have seen that there are machines, electrical machines courses are available on NPTEL. So you can listen to those NPTEL courses to enhance your knowledge in the theory of the electric machines, but at the same time you have virtual labs in which particular electric machines experiments are also there. So they go hand in hand very nicely. They are quite you can say complementary fashion to not only just have the theoretical knowledge but also the practical knowledge, because it will trigger the imagination and the inquisitiveness among the students of the trying to learn any particular topic. So as I said that virtual lab is actually available in different disciplines of science and engineering, and the idea is to cater to the students at the UG level. Although you said that here PG level can also be used to say this, but I think the PG level experiments are still under development in many of the IITs. Some of the actually labs you can also see that they are providing experiments which will be very helpful for the PG students also, in fact in their research also. And as I said, that students can learn on their own pace. For example, if they are not able to understand a particular topic, they can go again and again from one particular experiment, and they can satisfy their curiosity. And this is basically a complete learning management system, because sometimes some of the experiments can also direct you towards some web-based resources or some video lectures just to see how you can um, you are basically able to understand first the theory, and then you are able to grasp the practicals in a more better fashion. And then there are animated demonstrations and even a self-evaluation is available. So it's a complete management system, learning management system as it is available to the students for any particular lab. So here is a list of the institutions which actually have participated so far in developing these experiments. So you can see list of all the first generation IITs is already there, and Triple IT Hyderabad has been quite instrumental in developing many cloud labs which are available on the virtual lab. And Amrita University, they have CAB from IIT Surat, they have also been able to participate for the lab development. And as I said that the broad areas are there. Yes, somebody has raised hand. Any questions?
The voice is not clear, sir. Voice is
Okay.
not voice is not proper, sir.
How about now? Is that okay now?
A little bit okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So in the virtual labs, as I said, that there are many areas which are there in which the labs are available. So the entire gamut of engineering, for example, civil, chemical, mechanical, computer science, electronics and communication. And not only this, you might also see the experiments in the area of the labs are there in the area of humanities. So you can even try to, and even some of the labs are there to help you perform better in the exams which are conducted by the companies, placement examinations. So that is also something which I think they have provided now. So any experiment that you will see in the virtual lab, first of all, it's a on-demand lab. So you can learn at your own pace. So there is no question that the lab will be open from this to this point. No, it is available to you at any point of time. It's an integrated learning. So it's not that your lab experiment uh, your lab experiment is available to you. The manuals are available to you. The connections, everything is there. Okay? Now, why the reason why I'm saying this is sometimes there is. And we have seen this personally also that maybe you are there in the lab to perform the experiment and then the multimeter is not available, it's in some other place. So those kind of practical problems is quite something which people listen or people face from time to time. There is no situation like that here. Everything is at one place. Apart from that, there is pre-lab and post-lab quiz also, just to test your knowledge, whatever you have learned. Then you have animations and video, because animations and video can help you learn or grasp the things much more better rather than reading a 10-page document. If they are just showing you a quick animation or video of how to make the connections, how you are able to get the readings, what is the what sort of waveforms you will able to see, that is something which is available. Okay, and last but not the least, you are able to, you're free to make the mistakes. Okay, so what if you make some connections from what if you make some wrong connections? Okay, the experiment is not going to blow up. Okay, that's why I said that you can experiment with the experiments. Now this slide is actually useful for the people who want to be a nodal center for the virtual lab. So what you have to do actually is that you first have to go to the outreach. You have to contact the outreach team of the virtual lab, and I think they have some form on their website which you have to fill so that you can become a nodal center. And there are some conditions you have to satisfy to be a nodal center. And once you have become a nodal center, I think you have to establish some sort of lab at your uh, premises or in the institute with certain number of computers, and uh, uh, you have to always do certain events, and then you have to invite the nearby institutions. These institutions may be available, may be able to join the this program. You know, Details regarding that are actually available on the IIT Delhi Virtual Lab, this website, which I will show you in a minute. But if somebody is interested, I think RGPB has already done that, so you can even contact Professor Chobe for that thing. Or so, how to become a nodal center? Well, you actually have to participate in an open workshop at IIT Delhi. So once you are once you have attended that workshop, you have to get the training, hands-on practice with some of the virtual labs on IIT Delhi. So different kind of things will be taught to you there. So as I said, that many of the experiments are self-learning, but still, if you have any questions that how we can extend the lab further, or what are the different kind of things we can do with one particular lab. So maybe the people who have developed this kind of labs will be able to explain that to you in a much better way. Um, then you have to just submit an expression of interest form that you want to become a nodal center, and then I think this virtual lab people, they get in touch with you in order to develop that. And the idea is that this VLab will be in touch with the nodal centers, and there's a to and fro communication between them. And then nodal centers get in touch with the rest of the users who want to use the facility. Okay. So with this, I will go to the experiment now, just to show you the how uh, how actually you can. Uh, am I still audible?
Yes, sir.
That's interesting. Sure. Just want to go to the website. Are you able to see this website?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So so you can see here that this is the URL of the website. It is vlab.co.in, and this is actually an initiative, as I said, by the MHRD under the mission of National Mission of Education through ICT, and this is how the uh, this is how the website looks like. So you can see here that from time to time they will say that click here for the NC registration, okay? Or if you want to register yourself, then you can do that. I think become a nodal center. That's the tab you want to visit if you want to become a nodal center at your institution. Okay? And if you want to go to the new lab development, they also tell you that how you can develop a lab. So they tell you different ways how you can do that, how previously people have done it, how you can do the webinars, MOOCs and all. So I'm not going to go into that part right now. I'm actually going to show you something else. So um, I hope everybody here is in the area of electrical engineering.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this electrical engineering, and then you can see itself that there are a lot of different um, labs which are available. Okay. So I will just go through them quickly, then we will go to the labs.
Oh.
So you can see that there are virtual high voltage labs, machines lab is there from IIT Roorkee. There is a sensors lab from CIT Pune, virtual power lab from Dalbag. This is, I don't know if this is working conditions. So I'll write that in. But industrial electric drives lab is there. And then there is a PLC lab, real-time embedded system from IIT. And then electric machines lab is also there from IIT Guwahati. And very interesting thing that they provide you is that they give you reference books, so you can see that which reference book you can refer to. And then they can also provide you this possibility of syllabus mapping. So you can see that some of the institutions, they have actually mapped their syllabus, the machines lab syllabus with them. So the mapping has been done. Okay. Now, if you want to go to this lab, just click on that tab, and then you will see that you are in this website of IIT Guwahati's Machines Lab. And you can see that there are a lot of experiments which are available here. So some of you might have seen these experiments in their labs. For example, no load test, block rotor test, data resistance, auto transformer, how to start it, start delta, machines behavior in single coil, two coils. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to um, show you one or two experiments here. Basically, I will show you the first three experiments, and then tomorrow, or maybe I will take up a bit more about more experiments based on no load and block order test. So if you want to go to a particular experiment, again you see here that a small objective is provided. So the title is provided and small objective is provided to study the generation of magnetic field in single coil to do DC and AC current. So let's just click on it, and then you will see that after clicking a particular experiment, you will see there is an introduction, there is theory, procedure, and then the actual experiment is there, and then the quiz is also there. So let's see what is there in the introduction part. So introduction is basically the first tab which is showing you. So again, it shows the objective and then just a small abstract kind of a thing, that what actually this magnetic field development due to a current carrying coil is, this principle is all about. So you know about, and I assume that you already all are familiar with this principle. So I'm not going into details of that part, but if you are, anybody is interested, they can always look into the theory part. So it is the Lenz's law, and then it says basically that if there's a current carrying coil, which is the current is going in this direction, then the fields are actually developed like this, and then you will have corresponding north and south poles. If the current direction changes, then you will see that the north and south poles will change. If the current is unidirectional, that is DC, then the poles will remain as it is. Once that is done, once you have read the theory, and then I think they will also provide you link. This link actually directs you towards certain other maybe extra material which may be helpful to understand this particular experiment. So after this, there, if you just want to click on the experiment itself. Okay. Now in this particular experiment setup, you might have to enable the flash player in your computer. So any one of you, if they are trying to run this lab simultaneously, you will see that for some of you this lab may not be visible because you have to enable the flash player. So here is an experiment. Now once you have the experiment in front of you, I'm just talking about the same experience as you have in your labs in the institutions. There is somebody who explains it, that how to do the entire experiment. So that entire procedure is actually given here. So the first experiment here is single coil DC. The second experiment here is single coil AC. So for the single coil DC, all the different steps are given here. Okay. So if anyone is interested, they can go through the steps. I'm just going to show you the will explain the procedure to you. So now let's look at the experiment. So you know that if you want to measure the current, then how you can measure the current? You can use an ammeter, and the way you can measure the voltage is by using voltmeter. If you want to measure the power, you have wattmeters or VA meters, which are available. Now in this case, what we are going to do is we are going to measure the magnetic field. So what kind of equipment we should use to measure the magnetic field? Anyone, if they want to respond? What kind of equipment would be used to measure the magnetic field?
Flux meter.
Flux meter, okay. What kind of meters or sensor will be used? किस तरीके का हम सेंसर यूज करेंगे फील्ड को मेजर करने के लिए?
Hall sensors.
हॉल सेंसर यूज करते हैं. जनरली हॉल सेंसर क्या करते हैं कि जो भी फील्ड उसके थ्रू पास होती है, it actually converts it into equivalent voltages. Then by measuring that particular amount of voltage, we can get in turn the knowledge about the field which is available. So this thing is actually nothing but a Hall sensor. So what I'm doing is, this is a coil. Okay. सो इस कॉइल में से हम करंट पास करवाएंगे और यहाँ से चूंकि करंट पास होगा तो इस पर्टिकुलर स्टैटिक कॉइल है, सो इसके अक्रॉस एक फील्ड डेवलप होगी। उस फील्ड को हम इस सेंसर के थ्रू मेजर करेंगे। आप इस फील्ड की पोजीशन को चेंज भी कर सकते हैं, इस सेंसर की पोजीशन को, क्योंकि उससे क्या होगा कि जो आपकी फील्ड की स्ट्रेंथ है वो डिफरेंट एरियाज पे अलग अलग होगी, तो उस फील्ड की स्ट्रेंथ को आप इसकी पोजीशन चेंज करके भी देख सकते हैं। सो दैट इज ऑल्सो अवेलेबल टू। जनरली क्या होता है कि जब आपके फिजिकल एक्सपेरिमेंट्स होते हैं या फिर आपके I'm not sure if this kind of assembly is there in any of the institution, but when अगर इस तरीके की असेंबली होती है तो हॉल सेंसर्स कहीं पर फिक्स होते हैं, तो कॉइल के अक्रॉस आप वो एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन करके नहीं दे सकते, पर इस केस में आप देख सकते हैं। तो मैं क्या करूँगा, सबसे पहले मैं इस हॉल सेंसर को स्कोप से कनेक्ट करूँगा, ठीक है। प्रोसीजर इज नॉट डिफिकल्ट, यू जस्ट हैव टू लेफ्ट क्लिक ऑन वन बटन, right click on the other button, so you will see that a wire is coming up. So this connection is. Now what do you think will be the next connection? I have not read the procedure, but I think you all are able enough that you can see what should be the next connection. The next connection should be that I should connect this one of the side I should connect to positive, one of side of the coil I should connect to negative. So let's say I connect this to here. Okay. And we are human beings, we always make mistakes, and just by see that you make a mistake and you also connect this to the positive side. Okay, I'm just showing you that what happens if you make mistake. So the next part is whenever your circuit connections you make, okay, then what do you do in your lab environment? सपोज कीजिए आप कई लोग अपने से फैकल्टी होंगे और जो लैब कंडक्ट करवाते होंगे, जब भी स्टूडेंट को आप बोलते हैं कि आपने कनेक्शंस कर लिए हैं क्या, उसके बाद आप क्या करते हैं?
चेक करते हैं सर।
तो जो भी लैब असिस्टेंट होंगे या फिर फैकल्टी होंगे वो जाके उनके कनेक्शंस चेक करते हैं सबसे पहले, ठीक है। तो वही लैब असिस्टेंट का काम हमारे पास ये ऊपर के दो बटन्स का है, ठीक है। तो ये कब देखेंगे, यहाँ पे बटन है टॉप लेफ्ट कॉर्नर में, विच इज कॉल्ड चेक कनेक्शन। हम इस चेक कनेक्शन के ऊपर अगर क्लिक करेंगे तो हमको दिखेगा कि देयर इज एन इनकम्प्लीट कनेक्शन। सो इट सीम्स लाइक दैट one of the wire is not correctly connected, so we can say okay, and you will see that until unless I have made that correction in this thing, if I just try to turn on this MCB, it will not turn on, so I cannot give a supply. Okay. So let's try to rectify our connection. So I will just say remove single wire, and it is saying select any two connecting nodes. So I will take the first one and I will take the second one. So I have removed this negative wire, and what I will do now is I will connect this to the negative. What is the next step? Next step is I will again try to check the connection. There we go. So now it is the right connection. Once you have the right connection, then you can turn on the MCB. And then what you will try to do is you will try to flow some current through it. So you see, as you are trying to flow the current, the field is established in the circuit, and you can see that the direction is also shown in which the current is flowing. And the way the current is flowing, then you can see that the corresponding north and south poles are being generated. What happens if I try to move this sensor? Okay. So let me try to turn this off. Let me try to move it here. Okay. Then you will see that the field will slightly change. But if I am just see this graph, you will see that the flux magnitude is changing. So you will see that the strength of the field at the different locations of the coil is different. Okay. Now what happens if I change the polarity of this current? Of course, you will see that this north and south will Try to exchange the position. So let me
Yeah.
try that. So if I pick this north south pole locations also changes, and then like this the scope also tries to show you different way. Okay. Of course, if I try to increase the magnitude, you will see that the field strength will increase. ठीक है?
Yeah.
तो जो चीज हम यहाँ पे पोलैरिटी चेंज करके कर रहे हैं, यही सेम चीज हम कैसे कर सकते हैं?
Connection of wire.
We allow to flow AC current through it. So then we don't have to change the polarity again, because AC के अंदर polarity already 180 degrees के लिए it is positive, and for 180 it is negative. So let's try to do it that way. So what we will do is we will have the experiment number 2, and then we will do the same connection. So what I will do is I will take this here, I will take this connection here, this connection here. I try to just check the connections. So it is the right connection. I can now turn on the LCD. And since we have AC, we have to have certain frequencies. So let's say for the timing, I'm just keeping 30 as the frequency. You can keep it anything. And then I increase the voltage. So now you can see the same thing is being done here, that when you're trying to have an AC, then you have the polarity is being changed after every 30 hertz at a frequency of 30 hertz. You can increase the frequency, increase the magnitude. At the same time, you can change the position of the sensor. So you can see that right at the position here, you almost have no spin footage, but here we go. Okay. There are a few more things that you can do. For example, you can introduce some of the harmonics also. So you can just concentrate on this figure here. What happens if you're trying to inject some of the harmonics into the system? Fifth harmonic, seventh harmonic. This wave shape slightly becomes square in nature as you include more and more harmonics. So what happens if the different harmonics are injected? That thing also can be explained to the students. If you try to have 50 hertz with a voltage of 8, there is a wave. Okay, any question in this?
No, sir.
So what do you do generally when you finish the experiment? Just no need to remove the wires in this case. If you go to the experiment 1 again, you will see that you can start the experiment from the scratch. If you want to take a quiz, you can always do that. So feel free to explore with this part. Because I think there are different questions will be there, a set of 4 or 5 questions that will be there. Let me just go to the home page again. And the same experiment, now let's try to do it with a different setup. So now rather than having just one coil, you have 2 coils. Okay. पहली बात, अभी तक किसी को डाउट है? कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं अभी तक?
नो सर।
नहीं है? ओके। तो अब हम क्या करेंगे कि अब हम जो एक्सपेरिमेंट मैंने आपको बताया था वैसे एक्सपेरिमेंट को थोड़ा और एक्सटेंड करते हैं। तो 2 कॉइल लेके चलते हैं, ठीक है। 2 कॉइल में हम क्या करेंगे, सबसे पहले 2 हॉल सेंसर हैं, दोनों हॉल सेंसर्स को हम पहले कनेक्ट करेंगे स्कोप से एंड आई विल सिलेक्ट चैनल 1 एंड चैनल, ठीक है। उसके बाद ये जो रेड वाली एक वाइंडिंग है उसको मैं फेज ए से कनेक्ट करूँगा या फेज 1 से कनेक्ट करूँगा। ब्लू वाली जो वाइंडिंग है उसको मैं फेज 2 से कनेक्ट करूँगा और दोनों ही के जो दूसरे एंड्स हैं उन दोनों ही को न्यूट्रल से कनेक्ट करूँगा। जैसा मैंने कहा कि हो सकता है कि आप कुछ मिस्टेक करते हैं, सपोज कीजिए इसको भी आप फेज 2 से कनेक्ट करें, तो आपका नेक्स्ट स्टेप क्या होगा, आप चेक करेंगे कनेक्शंस में। चेक किया तो ये बोलेंगे चेक द कॉइल कनेक्शन, चूँकि आपने एक कॉइल का कनेक्शन गलत दे दिया है इसलिए आप या तो सिंगल वायर को रिमूव कर सकते हैं या फिर सारे वायर्स को रिमूव कर सकते हैं। मैंने सारे वायर्स को रिमूव कर दिया, मेक द फ्रेश कनेक्शन। Okay, so let me make the fresh connection. This is connected to phase A. This is connected to phase 2. And actually both the second ends of the coil should be connected to new. That makes sense. ठीक है, तो अब मैं इसके कनेक्शंस को फिर से चेक करूँगा। नोटिस है इट्स अ राइट कनेक्शन। Now I can turn on the experiment. I can give certain frequency to coil number 1, certain frequency to coil number 2. I can flow the current now in coil number 1. Let's say I flow it to 5 and then I flow it to 5 again. So this to 30. तो कोई मुझे बता सकता है कि ये ब्लू और रेड क्या दिखा रहे हैं?
Different magnetic field, strength of different magnetic field.
ये स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ मैग्नेटिक फील्ड दिखा रहे हैं। तो अब आप देखेंगे कि अब इसके अंदर आपकी सिर्फ एक कॉइल की वजह से मैग्नेटिक फील्ड नहीं है, आपके 2 कॉइल्स की वजह से मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है। और जो ब्लैक एरो है वो आपको दिखा रहा है दोनों की वजह से जो रिजल्टेंट आता है। लेकिन अभी आप देखेंगे कि जो रिजल्टेंट है वो इस तरीके से है कि इट इज इन वन डायरेक्शन इट इज इंक्रीजिंग एंड इन अनदर डायरेक्शन इट इज sort of like in one particular angle it is increasing and decreasing. Okay. So it is not a rotating magnetic field. Why rotating magnetic field is important? आप लोगों ने कंसेप्ट आई एम वेरी श्योर जो लोग मशीन्स पढ़ाते हैं या जिन लोगों ने ट्रांसफार्मर्स वगैरह भी पढ़ाया होगा, बेसिक इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग, आप सभी ने पढ़ाया होगा कि रोटेटिंग मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। व्हाई इट इज
To rotate the rotor.
जी, तो क्या ये जो असेंबली है इसको मैं ऐसा स्टेटर असेंबली मान सकता हूँ?
Yes.
ठीक है, क्योंकि इसमें वाइंडिंग्स को मैं रोटेट तो नहीं कर रहा हूँ,
No.
तो ये स्टेटर वाइंडिंग मान सकता हूँ। अब स्टेटर वाइंडिंग को यदि मैं इस तरीके से अलाइन करता हूँ या इस तरीके से करंट का फ्लो करवाता हूँ, इसमें एक रोटेटिंग मैग्नेटिक फील्ड फ्लो करना शुरू कर देगा। तो आप लोगों ने कंसेप्ट पढ़ा होगा कि कोई भी कंडक्टर अभी मैं इस रोटेटिंग मैग्नेटिक फील्ड के अंदर पास करता हूँ, तो since there is a rotating magnetic field, so there will be an induced EMF in that coil. As a result of which the current will start flowing through the coil, and the torque will be applied on that, which is called the Lorentz force.
Lorentz force.
तो लॉरेंस फोर्स की वजह से एक टॉर्क डेवलप होगा, जिसकी वजह से कोई भी कॉइल अगर मैं इसमें प्लेस करता हूँ, that coil will start rotating. That's basically the principle of जो हम सिंपली मोटर का प्रिंसिपल करते हैं वही, ठीक है। लेकिन इसके अंदर फिलहाल जो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है वो रोटेट नहीं कर रही, तो इसको हम रोटेट कैसे करवा सकते हैं? चलिए ट्राई करके देखते हैं। पहले
To create the
फेज
field
1
equals-
और 2 इसके बीच में अभी जो करंट का फ्लो है वो दोनों ही सेम फेज में है,
सेम फेस है या
लेकिन अगर मैं इसमें फेस चेंज करता हूँ,
फेस चेंज करेंगे तो हो जाएगा।
ठीक है, अभी मैंने कॉइल्स को इस पोजीशन पर रखा है, क्या मैं कॉइल्स की पोजीशन को चेंज कर सकता हूँ? यस। तो आप देखते हैं कि अब मैंने कॉइल्स को एक दूसरे से क्वाड्रेचर में रख दिया। अब आप देख सकते हैं कि इसके ब्लैक वाले इसके ऊपर क्या इफेक्ट आ रहा है। अब पहले आप देख रहे थे कि कॉइल पोजीशन 1 के अंदर दोनों कॉइल्स जो थी उससे जो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड प्रोड्यूस हो रही थी, that was the angle was slightly less than 90 degrees, but now
यस
both the magnetic fields are actually at 90 degrees respect to each other, and you can see the resultant field is something like this.
लाइव
Now
चल
this,
रहा है,
सर,
now
हाउ यू
this,
डिड दैट? आई डिडंट
चला।
गेट।
now let me try to increase the phase shift to 90 degree. So you can see ये जो मूव कर रहा है उसके ट्रेजेक्टरी को यहाँ पे प्लॉट कर रहा है। ठीक है, एक चीज आपने नोट की होगी, जब ये दो कॉइल्स इस तरीके से प्लेस हैं और ये आपस में 90 डिग्री फेज शिफ्टेड है, तो ये जो ब्लैक वाला वेक्टर है इसका मैग्नीट्यूड ऑलमोस्ट कांस्टेंट है। ठीक है, ऑलमोस्ट कांस्टेंट। लेकिन अभी मैं कुछ भी 90 के अलावा रखता हूँ तो आप देखेंगे कि पहले कभी कभी इंक्रीज हो रहा है, डिक्रीज हो रहा है, बिकॉज दोनों फील्ड्स की स्ट्रेंथ जो है तो इस तरीके से कि जब आप उनका वेक्टर एडिशन करते हैं then you will see that the field is trying to slightly increase at certain point and then slightly decreases. But if you want to make it uniform, you can make it like this. अब आप में से बहुत लोगों ने ये चीज, या तो आप क्वेश्चन कभी आया होगा कि इसी पर्टिकुलर एक्सपेरिमेंट के अंदर सर यदि हम एक कॉइल के अंदर जो करंट फ्लो करा रहे हैं वो किसी पर्टिकुलर फ्रीक्वेंसी का है, लेकिन दूसरे कॉइल में यदि हम करंट को किसी और दूसरे फ्रीक्वेंसी पे इंजेक्ट करवाते हैं, बाय मिस्टेक ही हो जाएगा, तो व्हाट डू यू थिंक विल बी द इफेक्ट? डू यू थिंक दैट काइंड ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट इज पॉसिबल इन रियल टाइम सिनेरियो?
नो सर, रोटेटिंग मैग्नेटिक फील्ड को डिस्टर्ब करेगा। और
डिस्टर्ब तो करेगा, लेकिन आपको लगता है कि आप वो एक्सपेरिमेंट करवा सकते हैं फिजिकली?
नो सर, नो सर।
क्योंकि जब भी आप कॉइल में करंट देंगे तो आप सप्लाई से करंट देंगे और आपको सप्लाई में कितना करंट मिल रहा है? 50 हर्ट्ज पे। या तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, या तो आपको एक साइक्लो कन्वर्टर लगाना पड़ेगा जो 50 हर्ट्ज की फ्रीक्वेंसी को किसी दूसरे फ्रीक्वेंसी पे कन्वर्ट कर सके, ठीक है, या फिर आपको एक सेपरेट सप्लाई लगानी पड़ेगी जो एक पर्टिकुलर फ्रीक्वेंसी के ऊपर जो है वो जनरेट करता हो। लेकिन इस केस में आप क्या कर सकते हैं, इस केस में आप फ्रीक्वेंसी चेंज कर सकते हैं। सपोज कीजिए ये जो सेकंड कॉइल है इसके अंदर मैं जो करंट फ्लो करा रहा हूँ वो 30 हर्ट्ज पे ना करा के मैं 35 हर्ट्ज पे कराऊँ। अब देखिए क्या होता है। आप देखेंगे कि एक बार जो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है वो क्लॉकवाइज मूव कर रही है, दूसरी बार एंटी क्लॉकवाइज मूव कर रही है। And you can explain this with the vector addition. So what you can do is you can draw two waveforms, one of 30 hertz, one of 35 hertz, and if you just keep on adding them together, you can explain this phenomena of why it is rotating in clockwise and why it is rotating in anti-clockwise. इस वाले वेवफॉर्म को यदि आप ध्यान से देखें तो इसमें भी आपको दिखेगा कि पहली बार ये वेवफॉर्म इस डायरेक्शन में मूव कर रही है, and after certain time this waveform will try to move in this direction, and again you will see now this will try to move in this direction. it's a very interesting way you can prove this kind of things. I will move it back to 30. What happens if I make it 135? Phase shift between 1 and 2. Again the same, the way you were observing a field which was previously an ellipse tilted slightly on the left hand side, now it is tilted on the right hand side. What if I make it 180? Again the same thing. Okay, so it's not rotating anymore. What if I change the coil positions? So previously it is 90, now it is the same thing. So the coil positions physically changed. Again try to make it 90. तो इसमें आपको क्या लगता है परफेक्ट स्क्वायर मुझे किस पोजीशन पे मिलेगा? सॉरी परफेक्ट सर्कल
90
पे नहीं मिल रहा है, मैंने 90 पे रखा हुआ है। ये आप सोच सकते हैं किस पे आपको perfect
0
circle
डिग्री
मिलेगा।
0 डिग्री
Now it is perfect square, perfect circle. So you can satisfy your curiosity that why in the second position you were getting a perfect circle at 90, in the second position, in the third position, when it is like this, you are getting a circle at 45. Let's see what happens when you have 0. When you have 0, then it's not rotating anymore. And when you have 180, the same thing but in the opposite direction. Let's try to move it back to position 2 and have it 90. So this was a case we saw. It's uniformly moving. And the magnitude is same for the black vector, resultant of both blue and red. Let's now try to inject some harmonic into it. So let's try to inject the third harmonic. So you can see now that how resultant is looking like. Let's try to inject fifth harmonic also. For one more. You can see now this is slightly distorted waveform. This is still circular, but now you can see it's not a perfect circle. It has some harmonics injected into the system. If you stop going one by one and go to the first harmonic, you will see again it's a perfect. So why it is happening? Because we have harmonics in the first and second coil currents, as a result of which whenever you add them, it shows certain peaks. And those peaks can be visible due to this third harmonic injection. So one can play with this. What happens if you are trying to increase the magnitude? Well, as you can see, the same thing, right, with a higher magnitude. Okay? Is it interesting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you want to see one more experiment before I stop?
Yes, sir.
See one more experiment. So दो के साथ आपने देखा कि दो कॉइल के साथ भी आप रोटेटिंग मैग्नेटिक फील्ड प्रोड्यूस कराते हैं, लेकिन जनरली हमारे पास कितनी कॉइल्स होती हैं थ्री फेज में? 3 कॉइल, ठीक है।
ठीक।
3 coil के अंदर हम क्या कर सकते हैं कि we can go back to the home screen here. And then let's just try with the 3 coils. So theory will be same. Okay. The only thing is now you will see that here in the 3 coils you have 3 currents 120-degree phase shifted with each other. यहाँ पे वो दिखा रहा है कि what will be the magnetic field which is produced, उसका expression दिखाएंगे. And then he has actually proved that if you take the flux densities in this way, and if you are just trying to do a vector addition of the flux densities, then eventually you will see that the net flux density is actually, I will show you that here, that the resultant magnetic field you can see is always like this. So this particular experiment can prove this. So aram se, if somebody is interested, they can go through this entire page. It's a very informative page. I will suggest you to go through it. That how they're coming at this point. And the interesting part is the magnetic field is shown in figure 2b. So let me just go to figure 2b. So this is the net magnetic field, and it is at a 0 degree. Okay. So we have 3 coils which are placed at certain angles. This is the net magnetic field, and you can see that the net magnetic field, you can see that the direction might be changing, but the magnitude is constant. So पहले 2 coils के केस में आपने देखा था कि 2 coils के केस में अगर even when the current is phase shifted with each other at a certain angle, the magnetic field was rotating in nature, but the magnitude was not constant. In few certain conditions, the magnitude was constant. But in this case, if you are keeping the coils 120-degree phase shifted with each other, and the current through them is also at a 120-degree phase shift, then you will see that the magnetic field will be constant in nature. So one can, so they have proved everything here. Okay. And let's just try to look at this experiment. So you can see again the procedure is given, so you can go through the procedure. I will just quickly show you the experiment. How many of you have actually tried to open this website right now? So you can try right now, or maybe later on you can try doing that. So let me start the experiment. So what I will do is I will connect this here. This here. All the 3 phases I will connect with the 3 different phases. All 3 second wire, second point will be connected to the wire. So let me just try to see the connections. So the connections are right. I can turn on the MCB, and let me just try to increase the frequency. So let me just keep all the frequencies to be 30. You can try any frequency you want. You can play with the frequencies at your wish. Let me just try to increase the magnitude to 8. I just want to be uniform with all the 3 phases. So still the same thing. You can see the 3 vectors added together, and they are in this particular direction. Now what I will do in the phase 1 and 2, I will do a phase shift of 120 degrees. And between phase 1 and 3, I will give a phase shift of 240 degrees. You can observe this pattern. Okay, how is it moving? And the problem is that one of the frequency is not the same. This is why it was moving in a very absurd way. Now it is fine. ठीक है। अब देखिए इसके अंदर कॉइल पोजीशन को चेंज करके देखते हैं। ये अलग अलग कॉइल पोजीशंस आप देख सकते हैं। इन दो के बीच में जो ये वाली रेड और ब्लू थी, इसके बीच में मैंने एंगल को चेंज किया। थर्ड इसमें इसको और चेंज कर सकते हैं। लेकिन मैंने क्या किया, फेज 1 और 3 के बीच में जो एंगल है, सपोज कीजिए उसको चेंज कर दिया। इसी तरह का आप एक्सपेरिमेंट कर सकते हैं कि सपोज कीजिए एक फ्रीक्वेंसी एक फेज का मैग्नीट्यूड जो है वो कम हो गया, उसका इम्पैक्ट अब आई थिंक यू ऑल आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट वेक्टर एडिशन मैग्नीट्यूड विल बी इफेक्टिव। तो इसके मैग्नीट्यूड यदि मैं फिर से कर दूं तो आप देखेंगे कि ब्लैक वाले जो वेक्टर है उसके मैग्नीट्यूड के ऊपर फर्स्ट और सेकंड के बीच में अगर मैं 0 कर दूं, और इन दोनों के बीच so you can see you can do all different kind of experiments here. So one can become a pro in this thing. अगर कॉइल पोजीशन चेंज किया तो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड के ऊपर क्या चेंज आएगा, अगर कॉइल पोजीशन को एक जगह पे स्टेशनरी रख के अगर करंट के फेजेस को चेंज किया तो फ्लक्स फील्ड के ऊपर क्या चेंज होगा। जब 3 कॉइल की पोजीशन को चेंज रख के आपने उसके अंदर करंट के फेजेस को चेंज करा तो किस कंडीशन में आपको रोटेटिंग मैग्नेटिक फील्ड मिलेगी। सो ऑल डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स यू कैन do the experiment and satisfy yourself. Here you can see the magnitude of black vector is pretty much constant, pretty much, and it is rotating. It is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. Okay. So, any question at this point of time? Any question?
नो सर।
ठीक है। Participants. Is anybody from all of you are from Bhopal or from some other places also?
Sir, from Vidisha, near Bhopal.
Vidisha, okay. Anybody from Gwalior?
No.
Anybody from Indore?
Yes, sir. I'm from
Yes,
Indore.
sir.
Indore?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm from Indore.
Okay. Anybody from Ujjain? Ujjain or Jabalpur? ठीक है। ठीक है, तो आप लोगों को अगर कोई क्वेश्चन होगा तो I will suggest you that you can play with this thing. The website name is vlab.co.in. Even in Google, if you just go and type virtual lab, you will be able to see this thing. ठीक है?
Okay, sir.
If you don't have any questions, then I will stop the session now. Tomorrow, what I will do is tomorrow will be slightly quick session. So, if you have any question, first of all, I can.
Sir, how can save this result if we want to save this result or diagram?
Unfortunately, you cannot save this result, but you can always take a screenshot.
Okay, sir.
So if you want to save this result in the form of a data, I think this experiment does not provide you that feasibility.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay?
Yes,
So if you don't have any question, then I will stop the experiment.
very
And,
nice lecture, sir. Very nice lecture.
What I will do is I will stop the share.
Thank you.
So, Madhurima ji, if you have any last minute suggestion, or I don't know if Professor Chowdhury is still online. कल हम थोड़े से इसमें क्या करेंगे कि जो इंडक्शन मशीन से रिलेटेड कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट है वो देखेंगे जरा. Madhurima, are you still online?
सर they are online but वो अभी
Hello. Yes, sir.
वहाँ पे नहीं है सर.
Sir,
Madhurima, I've just finished today's
Today session.
okay,
session.
sir. So shall we stop?
Yeah, we can stop the session.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we will start tomorrow again at 11:30.
Yes, sir. Sure,
thank you.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.